right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you, Ali Me Ballard and Dr. Sarah, to a brand new episode of The Rack, Random Acts of Commentary with my man, my main motherfucking dude, the man, the myth, the legend. This is a human being of which I have the utmost respect and affection for, the phenomenal Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yeah.
What up, family?
Hey, man. Hey, I'm glad we're here.
Yes.
I'm glad we're here. Congrats on the podcast. I'm glad to be part of it in the beginning.
My 9-year-old self is pretty excited to have you here. I used to watch the Cosby Show. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. with my binator in, okay? That's right, I had buck teeth. You only had to wear it at night. So I wore it during the Cosby Show. So I'm here live with Theo. What?
There is almost no one untouched by the reach, of that artistry. I know some people who were raised by very intellectual professors and whatnot, and they couldn't watch television like that. It was like a scientist, like a legit scientist. And he would bring down a television set out the closet, when you would plug it in, put the rabbit ears on it, just for this one. And they would bring the TV down just for this 130 minutes of which he considered was quality info edutainment, man, and then put the TV back up. Real stuff.
Wow. It's a timeless, it's a timeless show, man.
Yeah,
I watch it with my every now and then, which is so surreal.
Is
but
it?
It's crazy just how evergreen the show is and how how everything still stands so true. 30 years later.
Oh my God, don't say that I'm that old.
Oh absolutely.
What happened?
You want to break into some questions? I'm gonna invite you to start querying my man first, because I have so many things I want to
say. Well, you know what? It's interesting, you got your fame on the Cosby Show, but yet, you dove into other things like producing. Like I saw that you did the New Edition music video, and my Boston people are going to be all about that. Like what it was like working with like Ralph Tresvant. I think he had the best voice, by the way. It's just incredible, like your whole journey. And let's kind of talk about, you were in Suits, which brings me up to like a whole different thing. Suits has had 3 billion streams on Netflix, and nobody made residuals. So Elmi and I talk about the writer's strike and everything. So I would love to know what your perspective is on that, because you probably didn't get residuals from being on the Netflix show, just starring in Suits.
Right. I think one of the reasons why we're on strike, residuals is a big part of the myriad of reasons why we're striking. And I think to your point, for content to be able to be rewatched without our getting compensated for it, it's not what the business was set up, how the business had been set up. Writers and actors and directors, what we do is they're unstable careers to begin with, and in between jobs, residuals is how many of us live. So to be able to, sure, the business model has changed, the fee structures and the way we are paid out and those kind of things should change as well. And I think we kind of got ourselves screwed a bit in the last negotiation.
Absolutely.
When it came to streaming, because it was like, they're trying to negotiate streaming, and then, the other side is like, well, we don't know what streaming is going to look like in 5 years.
Right.
So we got jerked, we got jerked during that negotiation period. And at this point, they're saying, again, well, we don't know what AI is going to look like in 5 years. So we're like, okay, well, let's put certain safeguards in place So 5 years from now, we don't have to have these battles, and we don't have to feel screwed out of, you know, putting food on our table.
And
Right.
we're still sorting the residual thing.
Yeah,
Like
man. Yeah,
that's a secondary. That's a second. We have to amend the old deal
yeah,
that
yeah.
it properly compensates the people that generate the product that generates the tens of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
The understanding that when Netflix, streams Suits. So Netflix doesn't own Suits. I believe it's Warner, Universal,
Right.
Viacom. Somebody owns it.
Yeah.
And these companies are not altruistic. They're not just giving it to Netflix to stream for fun and for shits and giggles. You know what I
Right.
mean? So the studio that owns Suits licenses it to Netflix to play infinitely
Yeah. Yeah.
for a fee. And that's where the creatives are out of that conversation. That's the same conversation with the streaming service with Spotify. They'll play Drake's music a billion times or Beyonce's music a billion times, but Universal Music Group that owns the catalog or whoever, Warner, again, same companies,
Uh-huh.
music and television that own the content, they're not giving it to Spotify or Pandora altruistically. There's a dyed in the wool cement. Armored by 10,000 attorneys, a fee structure for that. You're just left out of the fucking conversation.
100%. And as an artist, I've got music on Spotify and Apple Music, and I get nothing at the end of the day.
Right.
But here's the like we're in a really interesting place, because there is, to be an independent artist.
Yes, sir.
It's a beautiful time for that, because there are tons of ways where you can create your own content musically, and you don't necessarily have to go to a Spotify or an Apple Music, right? There's YouTube channels, there's Instagram channels. You're not going to, you may not be paying your bills off of how you sell your content, but you're not going to pay any bills selling your content on Spotify anyway. The issue becomes getting it out there.
Yeah.
Right. The issue becomes the distribution. And, this is a really interesting time for creatives to start thinking about alternate distribution. Right now, that's alternate distribution channels. Creatives have been screwed from the beginning of the business. Like, this is not anything new.
Correct.
We're at a point where it's so unfair that it's difficult for creatives to really survive at this point.
Well, I find that interesting too, what you're saying about the music, because for over 5 years I was in Nashville, so I did all the interviewing of every artist out in Nashville, and the biggest thing with them right now, they're having trouble just even getting their music out there, because a lot of places like Warner want it to be a TikTok sensation before they even get it going on Spotify, which is just crazy. So you have like these bigger artists, like not your Morgan Wallens, but you have your Mary Morris. They all are told that they have to have some kind of, like blitz on TikTok in order for a lot of these the music songs to get out. So it's just kind of a crazy time for anybody being an artist, I feel.
I'm gonna step into that space. I did a television show, which I won't name because I'm not name dropping it because of the strike, but and because to protect the innocent, you know what I mean. But there used to be a promotional budget in entertainment. I was doing a television show on a major network, and because of the advent of social media, different television properties, talk to their artists about sharing and promoting on social media, which is promotions for free. Everybody on every television show does this. You'll get your communication, share this tomorrow. The show's coming out. And I was on the show with a more veteran actor, and they didn't have any social media, right? And I was in the meetings, and they were asking this particular individual, listen, we'd love to get you on social media. And this person was just looking at them like, you want me to promote the show, work on the show, and then promote the show.
Marketing team.
Like, there used to be a budget for that. I was like, This is not like something I was smart enough in myself to conceive. But he was like, yeah,
Mhm.
there used to be a budget on that, so that's a hard pass for me. I was
Oh,
like, oh, OG move.
okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm paid to do the acting, and then now for free, you would like me to promote. It boils back down to I think, the economic culture of our country, which is squeezing the working man, squeezing the help. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
believe me. Mhm.
But the
It's the truth.
profits at the top are still astronomical. The CEOs of these companies are still making $30 million. There's a lot of money being made. I'm just getting squeezed.
Yeah. But we're in the place where we can't work with what we have any longer. And it's time to go back to the drawing board and figure this out. But we're also in a place where the audience has changed, right? The
Yeah.
audience is not the audience that it was 30 years ago. Like I talk to young people today who have no idea what the Cosby Show was. And I, explain to
Really?
them, look, whatever is the most popular show, highest rated show right now, is nothing compared to what that show, right?
Back
So,
then.
No.
we grew up when there were, 3 networks and then 4 networks, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
so now with so many platforms to choose from, you have an audience that there's a very different kind of engagement with an audience. The attention span is not what it was.
Yeah.
They've been fed a steady diet of digital junk food. So
Yeah.
Mm.
what they what an audience now considers quality, what the mass will consider quality, is not necessarily the same standard of quality. And these studios know that. They know what the audience is, so they don't necessarily have to put as much work in
Right.
the shows that they accept, because at this point they can produce so many things, throw them up against the wall, and see which one sticks.
It's the upside on a financial level is if you keep on throwing things out and just taking what hits, what you don't get to build is longevity, right? If you give Taylor Swift a deal now, you can't treat her like the first coming in Taylor Swift. It
Mm.
works good on the money side. If I keep on throwing that new talent at you, they're
Mhm.
always at that disadvantageous deal. And the
Yeah,
bigger you are, you can always, you can set your terms.
yeah, the best you can, because when you got Michael Jackson and Prince and George Michael all complaining about their record deals,
The number you have
you
dialed.
go, wow, okay, they must have gotten to the point where they got so screwed, they said, wait a minute, this is not
Yeah.
going down. But for those of us, who aren't OG enough to be like, there's a budget for promoting, and it's a hard pass. Like, like, look,
Yeah.
I got clout, but I can't imagine, having that conversation.
I was shocked. It was. I'm telling you, I was at the table because you're at the big table. You're at the table read thing or the production meeting, whatever it
Yeah.
was, man. But dude said it, and he was so OG, and I was like, wow, he's 1,000% right, man. And it reminded me of Kevin Hart having that conversation on Instagram a few years ago when a movie he was doing in the studio wanted him to promote it, and he was like, I've built up my social media, following to such an extent that that's more of a paid thing
Right.
for me to, you know what I mean? Unless it's my movie, like I own it. If you like me to promote it, then there's a budget for that. And I was like, sometimes these savvy guys or gals, they really can help you if you listen close, get your money education out.
Yeah, but they also have a kind of career where that kind of conversation is not going to hurt their career.
That part. Say that
There
part.
is that. There is that.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, more power to them. Like, yeah, that's a great space to be in. Everybody's not going to be in that space, and the studios, the networks know that everybody's not in that space. Like, that's a conversation that could change the course of a creative career.
Absolutely. I appreciate when you do have that agency. It's like people using their space of privilege. I mean, maybe I can't say it, but you can say it. So say it, please. so that it's said. You know what I mean? I love that sometimes everybody doesn't have the agency to speak the truth in the moment, but the people who can and don't say nothing. I love that he said that. I could have said that. That'd have been, grand opening, grand closing. Get your little black ass out of there.
Bye.
But I love it that the OG in the room was like, "That's cute. I see what you're doing with the young people." No.
Yeah.
And that I was able to get that. I couldn't say it even if I knew it, but I was able to get that game. And then when I find myself in that position where I can, to take that lead, man.
Yeah, man.
I don't think you're shy. So I wouldn't worry about you.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten old. Like this is, I want to ask you a question, but you put me down the street, Sarah. Like the more older I get, the more no's come out of me. Any creative.
It's so true, though. Like in general, like I will say no to a lot more. Do you? Yeah.
And honestly, I think part of that is it comes with age.
Yes.
Right. You get to the point where, look, I'm 50 plus. And
no, you're not.
I feel like,
oh yes,
I am.
Oh yes, he is.
Yeah, but I feel like, look, I've lived enough life, right? I've been in this business enough where it's okay to say no.
Yes,
right. Like even take the business aside. Let's take that out of the equation for a second. Just being a 50-plus-year-old man, I've lived enough life where I can say no to things because the hierarchy of your priorities change.
True.
Right? Like I just had a gig. I got an offer for a gig to perform on Black Friday. Right? It's Nashville. I'm in Atlanta. It's a 3-hour drive. And I was really like, Black Friday is the worst holiday to travel on, whether you're driving or flying. It's still a holiday weekend. That's time away from my family. My mom's going to be in town. And I was like, well, you know what? It's going to cost you this number for me to even consider having a conversation with my family about taking this gig. And I felt no issues at all about putting that number out there. Because I was even like, this number is not even guaranteed. But this number can at least start the conversation.
OG conversation.
Oh, listen, your gray hairs are showing when you start talking like that.
Right. Right. And it comes from a place of, it's not even a place of bravado. It's just a place of, look, this is where my life is. I'm 50 plus. My bandwidth is not what it used to be.
No. You're arguing with people. I'm not.
I don't have the time.
I'll say it once, maybe twice. That's it, bro. We good.
Yeah.
No, man.
It's a beautiful place to be honest.
It is.
I agree.
The thing we got almost not you not no you ain't 50 now. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta earn
it, but we don't,
you gotta earn these numbers and these grades.
I'm getting there.
No. We want that to be way off, but anyway, of course, I don't know how old you are. I don't presume to know. Excuse me. And if you are 50,
who, me?
Yes.
I'm 29.
Hey,
that's what I'm saying.
I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, man, about longevity, and about what inspires you, what powers you, what inspires you, man. What do you attribute, to your success and your reach and your influence over these decades, man? It's something that I observe as a brother, as a comrade, as someone that loves you, which, with the utmost pride and excitement and joy every time I see you continue to share your art, which so many people love and connect with, man. What do you attribute to that journey, that your passion is still vibrant in, Grammy nominations, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah. Well, I've told the story a million times, and for me, the story never gets old. I was 14, Cosby came out the gate with the numbers and success, and it was a phenomenon. And I'm 14, and my mother says to me, baby, it's great that this show is the phenomenon that it is, but you know how this business is. This is over next year.
Mm.
What are you going to do when the show's over? She said, I can type. I can always get a job. But what are you going to do when the show's over? And then we talked about longevity. And she said, if longevity is what you want in this business, look at anyone who's had longevity. They've had times when they were hot and they're not.
Yep.
What you have to do is decide what you're going to do during those times when you're not hot, so you're not making desperate acting choices. And that, we literally, that show lasted 8 years. We spent each year living as if it were the last year because
Wow.
I didn't know. So what she embedded in me was the importance of longevity. So I started, I also knew that the transition from being seen as kid actor to being taken seriously as an adult actor would not necessarily be a smooth one. So I started looking at other things that would keep me creatively involved in the business. So the directing was the thing that I started. I mean, the directing was really what had me working in between acting gigs for the longest time. Like I was on Cosby, I was directing Cosby, I directed Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I was doing a bunch of stuff for Nickelodeon, right? Like all the stuff.
Keenan.
Yeah,
All that.
yeah, all that.
Rosie
No.
talk. Rosie talk. Sorry.
Yeah, I directed those shows, man.
All that.
So for me, it was always the constant. And then also, what I also understood too, I'm, 15, 16 years old. Cosby is, at his height, and I'm having these interviews, and people will constantly ask me, what's it like having success, being successful at such a young age? And at 15, 16 years old, my response was, well, the show is successful, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm successful.
Mhm.
Because being on a number one show means nothing if I'm not still working consistently at 30, 40, 50, 60 years old.
Perfectly
If
put.
I'm 50, 60 years old and I've had a career where I've worked consistently, then I'll be able to look back and say that I've had a successful career. So the long game has always been, where my attention has been. So, growing up, I never really had the, yo, I'm a TV star. Whoop-de
Yeah,
whoop-de.
yeah.
It was always like, how do I parlay what I'm doing into something else? So
That
that kind of keeps me, even at 50 plus, there's still a long road. I got a
you,
kid, I got a family to feed.
my mom's grandfather in that humility and perspective, man. Like
Yeah,
that's what I
man.
want
Yeah.
to do on my end. As a parent, as your parent, as well as I'm a parent, man. Humility and perspective. It tempers the moment. It tempers the ride. It tempers you're up on the roller coaster. Let me give you some game, son. The
Yeah.
roller coaster goes up, it goes down. It might spin you this way. They'll be
Mm.
talking trash about you next week.
Yeah.
What's your plan?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that really, for me, sounds like what puts your feet on solid ground, bro. So,
Yeah, man. And there's that thing. Thank you, Ali. And there's that, and there's also there's also, for me, as an actor, as an artist, as a man, as a black man, who has a certain wherewithal to be meticulous about the kind of roles that I choose, has always been extremely important to me as well. And for a long time, I used to be very judgmental toward actors who would take work that I would turn down because I felt like, okay, well, I'm turning down this work because I don't want to perpetuate these negative stereotypes. But then there are 7 other cats behind me who are going to take those roles and continue, those stereotypical images. And it used to really bother me. And like I said, I used to be really judgmental. And then I got to the point where I understood that everyone did not necessarily have the financial wherewithal to be able to say no to.
Mm.
So that once again kind of tempered my humility, if you will, and I was able to take away the judgment, and I think it really elevated my gratitude for being able to take the positions that I've taken on so many roles. Like, I've said more. I've said no to more things than I've said yes to. And if I said yes to those projects, my bank account would, be quite different. You know,
Gosh.
my TV would be quite different.
Ooh.
But I think the thing that one of the things I'm of the many things, one of the things I'm really proud of is I have a body of work that I will never be ashamed of. There's not one role that I would be ashamed of because of the way I've represented my people. Now, there may be a role or two that I'm ashamed of because I didn't like my work.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I sucked at that one,
yeah, but I wasn't. But I've not. I've had the good fortune, the blessing to be able to have a career where I don't have work that I'm ashamed of because of the way I represent people.
You like stuck with your purpose. Is there a role that you turned down that you ever regretted? Interesting. Because most people would have something like, when I asked that with musicians, so there was always a song they regret they didn't pick up or something.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. I mean, I like Ali said, it goes back to your mom. It sounds like your mom was just such a great teacher and kept perspective so normal that it sounds like in a childhood actress, like you'd have your Britney Spears where they didn't have that normal upbringing. She kept you in it's great having family, and you were kids still, and you kind of and you were just so blessed to get the Cosby Show. So it was like she kept you down to earth.
Yeah, I mean, yes, 100%. I mean, there was that. There was, we also came up. We were on the heels of we overlapped the Different Strokes kids.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it's one thing to grow up and you hear all these stories about child actors who have gone down the
falls. Yeah.
But with Gary Coleman and Todd Bridges and Dana, like we saw them. We would see them at events, right? So our shine kind of overlapped. So for us, there was kind of well, there's really no excuse to do what everybody else is doing because we see where that takes you.
You don't have such rose-colored lenses on what success and fame looks like, because right in front of you have, listen, bro, this looks toxic.
It is toxic. It is toxic. I mean, not just for children in this business. Business is toxic, period. No matter how old you are, no matter what level you are in the game, it's a toxic business. And the first thing I tell people when they ask me, well, can you give me some advice? I want to get into the business. My first piece of advice is don't do it. Go do something else.
Run.
Nobody ever listens to that part, right? They don't even.
Nobody want to hear that. Nobody want to hear that.
And then the second thing I say is, okay, well, whatever you do, keep your soul intact at all costs, because the first thing people are going to do in this business is sell their soul.
Okay, so because I've been around for about 7 days, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've been around for 10 days, right? So I've been around for 7 days. So
that's a lot of days.
I crossed the 50 mark, right? So you start getting, young cats and then 20 to 30s like, what's up, OG? You're like, oh shit, right? I am Unc. You Unc now. So you not young player, you not young hottie, you Unc. You know what I'm saying? You ain't granddad yet, but you Unc. You know what I mean? So if they start calling you Unc, don't get all in your feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's me. I was at the TSA.
I'm ma'am. I'm ma'am over here.
Oh, yes. You.
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me?
I was going through the TSA.
I'm still hottie single lady over here with the blonde hair. What are you calling me ma'am for?
Sarah,
what's that?
Sarah, I be wanting to hold my sexiness, and the world wants to strip this from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at the TSA. This young lady, beautiful young woman, is like, oh my gosh, I like that t-shirt. You look really great. That's a great t-shirt. I was like, Oh, thank you. My dad has one of those. I was like,
Uh-huh.
thank you. Thank you, young lady. I appreciate that. She just curved me right.
Humbled moment.
She just curved me like, wow, you got on my dad's t-shirt. I was like, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, young.
Great.
Then I said, thank you, young lady.
Wow. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Just,
Wow.
Wonderful. Awesome.
they just smack you right in the face with it, man. What you were talking about with how your mom raised you and this humility and this grounded perspective, man. This is my favorite story about Malcolm Jamal Warner that I tell in person, but I'm gonna tell it on camera. Okay, so it's 2000 whatever, right? I have 2 children at the time, and I've known Malcolm for quite a few years, right? And me and Malcolm had an audition on Sony Studios Live, right? And we're both going in for the same role, right? And my wife, who's out of town, is out of town, and I'm there with the 2 kids, you know what I'm saying? Because they're too young to be in school at this point, right? I got a 2.5-year-old and a 4-year-old or something like that. And so I'm like, oh, cool. So Malcolm said, hey, what's up, brother? So good to see you. I said, hey, Alex, so good to see you. He's like, oh, God, the kids are getting big, right? I said, oh, my God. I was like, yeah, me and Dawn. He was like, wait a minute, Dawn, that's the same Dawn you were dating before? I was like, yes. I have babies with the same Dawn. Yes, same woman. Yeah,
Same Dawn.
Same Dawn. Like I was saying, I'm like, cool. So he goes into his interview, rocks it, and I don't have anybody to watch my kids, so I'm trying to prep them. And Malcolm's like, hey man, you just want me to watch them for you while you're going there? Listen, in the moment I had time to be grateful, I was just like, yes. So I go in there, like, I'm there. Malcolm
Take them home with you. Take them with you.
It's like he's like Malcolm. But this is no cameras are on. The social media doesn't exist. There's no retelling of the story. There's no upside. There's no watch me feed the homeless kids with the cameras over my back. There's no one to tell the story to. This is where there's no reward from it but the act itself. Just common love, unprompted. I didn't ask.
That's amazing.
Offered, hey, you want me to watch them while you go in there? I was like, bro, I so appreciate I'm trying to get these lines, but I got my 2 kids. Their mama's out of town. I'm a single dad for the weekend. And my man just got you. This is when I tell you the stories that you can't make up that tell you nearly everything you need to know about a person. About the quality of their spirit, of their heart, about how thoughtful they are, without thinking, without being asked, without being reminded. It's nothing I would have even asked of him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been so presumptuous to say, hey man, can you watch my kids?
Right. Yeah.
And it's one of the things, Malcolm King, man, that why I have, my affection level, bro, my respect. If I didn't know who you were, like for real, you told me in that moment with that one action, bro. So I just flowers, props to who you are as a real person.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful. So for me, because I never get to tell my side of it, right?
2 sides to every story.
Like what a beautiful thing. Well, 2 things. Well, first, as a single Black man, it's like, wow, he got his kids at
the hell?
I feel for him. Like you don't bring 2 kids, right? If you bring 2 kids to an audition, like that's a dire situation where you had no other choice. So if I, as a swinging single, it was like, this dude.
He hurt me. He in pain.
But it was also just a thing to see this. I mean, this father is like we're all on the grind, right? This is the audition grind. We're all on the grind. But to see this beautiful Black man with his 2 children in tow, out here trying to get this work, it was just it's a beautiful thing to see, because that's not the thing. That's not the image that we get to see of Black men. That's not the image that we are bombarded with, right? So to be able to see that and witness that, like this is the real life. This is the real life shit. Like we don't talk about, no one goes on television and talks about taking their kids to auditions.
No.
Why I had to take my kid to an audition. So there's there's so many parts of
baby. I want you to come here for a second. I want you to thank Malcolm if you can for watching your kids when you was out of town. He said I look desperate, and he had pity on me, and that's why he watched our kids all those years ago. And can you just thank this brother and just let him know that we
It's hilarious.
Hey,
Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
I'm keeping them in tow. I'm keeping them straight on the straight edge here. Okay.
Well, that means that you have a full-time job going on.
Good luck with that.
Able to do. Congratulations. I have another one. Malcolm, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you, darling. Good to see you.
Yes. Kisses to the wifey. And
look at this beautiful couple. Every time I see the Instagram, I'm like, they are a hot couple. Those two. Yeah. Well,
Malcolm was saying he had pity on me that day. And that was the intro to the next level of
it was.
Wait. People are gonna want to know though, who got the role?
Oh,
no, it wasn't me.
Right, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me either. I didn't get it.
The project or a role.
Right.
All I remember what Maya Angelou said. You don't remember what they said. You just remember how they made you feel. You know what I mean? Like it goes like the details of that was like inconsequential, man. I don't know who got that role or what it was for. But that moment, I carry with me as part of my life story is kindness, unabashed, unprovoked, needed because you looking real desperate, you looking real grimy, and you need that assist. But this is what I think, makes the world, thrive. Why it hasn't all fallen apart already? And I know we feel this. These unspoken, they're not, promoted. They don't make the TikTok reels as much as the garbage, but these acts of kindness from the soul, man. Without getting all emotional, I think what keeps our planet, why it hasn't already gone to shit. You know what I mean? And it's really in bad shape. But these acts of joy, of love, man, they give me hope, and I think they're the binders, man, that keeps our human family, together.
Yeah, no doubt. And for the record, see you later, dog.
Bye.
And just for the record, I also just wanted to be known. You didn't look desperate. You had it all under control.
Good.
He was acting. That was acting.
My thing was like when you go in there, right, and they're out here, and like if they get scared or whatever. So that's why I was like, well, let me just hang out with them, while Dad is in there. So, but it wasn't let me help this brother out because he looked like he was help. It wasn't like you had it under control.
Other things about dating and stuff like that, but
that's what I want to go to. You mentioned being a swinging single, looking at me, helpless man with 2 kids. How did this all happen? You know what I'm saying? I was on the download, Sarah. I have been looking at him like he ain't never gonna get married. That shit ain't never gonna happen for him, man. I was looking at him like I don't know. And I think that's a bad thing. I just don't even know if that's gonna happen. And then that magic happened.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to happen either. And I was okay with it. Like I'd gotten to the point where I was 43. I was in a 6-year relationship.
Yeah.
And after that relationship, I spent the following 2 years like a man who had been in a 6-year relationship.
Tearing up the town, if you will.
Oh my goodness. At some point, I realized
it was about the time you needed the SAC app when I had the SAC app. You needed a SAC app.
What was the SAC app? I missed that.
It's before Grindr. This is before Grindr.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Oh, no, I didn't need it.
But you needed to keep track.
I didn't need it.
Nah, I didn't need it, son. I walked outside. I was like, oh my God.
Right. What Eddie Murphy say? Oh, that's mine. That's mine. Oh, that's mine right there too. In my pocket. Oh
But
yeah.
then love found you, brother. Then love. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. But then I got to a point where I realized I need to go on hiatus. Like I was like, this has been 2 years. I've been doing way too much. Let me take some
That's so
time
fun.
to just kind of figure out what's next. Like maybe I'm not wired for marriage. Maybe I've had relationships with great women, and maybe this next chapter of my life is about something bigger than family. And I had made peace with that. I'd gone through a stint where I was, I wasn't dating, no relationships, no dating, mostly no sex. Mostly a couple of times a year.
You know what I'm saying? I sat on my hand and gave myself.
I was like, can I be? I'm like, oh my God, the inappropriateness of what I can go to.
I sat on my hand, I got numb, and then I gave myself a stranger. Like mostly no sex. I'm in celibate with me.
Allie,
you read my mind.
No, in that I meant I was like, I'm giving up sex, but then there were a couple of situations that just
I fell, and there was some.
I felt,
and I ate all that peach cobbler. What you want me to do? To me. It was that, man. I told my maid no peach cobbler. You know what I'm saying? I walked outside with my car. I ate it. I digress.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly.
Yeah. So during this time, I just was just really kind of figuring some things out for myself, and I try to make a concise story, but I met my wife to be through a mutual friend, and our mutual friend thought it would be cool for us to kind of get together, and I was like, look, I'm on hiatus, I'm not dating, and my friend was like, well, listen, she's a really cool person. One date won't hurt. At the very least, she could be a really cool friend or a really cool spiritual connection. And I thought, that's actually, that's probably what I need in my life, like to actually go on a date, go to a movie, go to dinner, drop young lady off, go home by myself. Like that's not an experience that was necessarily a common experience for me. So I was like, I need to do that. And so mind you, if my wife was here, she would interject and she would say, whether that was his position or not, that's what was going to happen. He would have gone home by himself. So I got to give her props because that's what she would interject for that. But we were, it's like even on our first date, I remember talking and having made peace with not having, kids. Yeah. I was like, look, I'm probably not gonna have kids. And she was like, well, I'm definitely having kids. Right. And it was great. I was like, okay, great. We are not even on the same page.
Off the table.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So we can just cool out and just be friends. And during that time, we I know I was having just off the cuff, honest conversations that I probably would not have been having if I was looking for an angle.
Right.
It's just like, what A, B, C, D, this is how I feel about whatever. And even the way we dated, like our first date was September, our second date was October. We didn't date again until November. Like it was really just a
organic.
Now, we got a cool spiritual connection kind of thing going on. Yeah. And after never having any other conversation about kids, 5.5 months later, I was like, what do you think about starting a family?
Excuse me?
That was exactly her response. She was like,
what?
You in the friend zone. You're like, yeah, but I'm gonna break out of there. So before I break out of there, you know what I'm saying?
Gotta go.
Before I put my Mac on you, what do you think about? Because I'm coming out of there, I think. I think I'm just gonna break that.
Man. Yeah. And what it was for me. And normally I'm the person who's going to tell you, having been, so I spent more years of my adult life in long-term relationships than not.
Okay.
4, 5, 6, 7.5 year relationships.
Yeah.
And I would be the guy to tell you, look, you need to be with someone, you need to be with them at least 4 or 5 years before you get married. So
Right.
it takes that amount of time to really know who that person is.
Yeah.
You're lucky. And having been in these long-term relationships, I've talked to people who've been together, been married forever, and they always would say, when you know, you know.
Yes.
So it sounded like, okay, that's cool conceptually, like, okay, cool.
Right.
But after 5.5 months, the light bulb went off, and I was like, oh, that's what they mean. When you know, you know.
Boom.
And I just knew.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't have that at all. I'm the 43-year-old Malcolm still.
You still running?
Kids? What?
Hey.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But, if you guys know any single guys you want to set me up with, holla. Okay.
Okay. Keep that in mind.
Please do. Because there ain't no quality here in Boston. Sorry, guys, but you don't know how to dress. They do not know how to dress here. They got their Patriots shirt on with their tattered like khaki pants. The dogs are out, their feet flip-flops.
Oh wow! Okay. Wow, you're painting
hanging out.
Photo. That's
Dogs are out. Wow.
That is Boston's attire. Then you got the girls all pretty, and then they're showing up like slackers.
It's so funny. We say the girls are out, but you say the dogs are out. Got it. Understood.
The dogs are out. Dogs.
Yeah.
We want to sprinkle some love, fairy dust over on you there in Boston.
All right. DM me, guys. Anyone, let them know. DM.
But
Slide.
The thing I tell people though who are older and have not gotten married or had kids, I always tell people like, wait, like it's like for me, we've been together almost 8 years. We had our 8-year anniversary a couple of days ago. But even after 8 years, I still thank the Most High for giving me the wisdom and fortitude to have waited.
Yeah.
If I did this any earlier, I would not be as effective a husband or a father. No way. So for me personally, I'm so glad that I waited as long as I did.
So there's a certain amount of grace that comes with just doing it in its right timing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I feel like I did it right. Like I just told my dad, I did it right.
Yes.
I did it right.
Well, I mean, I think it's just incredible that you've had this career and then you got nominated for a Grammy. You did a record on poetry.
I also won. So just for clarification, I won a Grammy in 2015. That's 2015.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you meant this year.
Grammy nominated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
see,
I thought to go to.
This is my bad.
Why are you gonna be interrupting me?
Wow. That came out your chest kind of
hot. Yeah.
That came out real wow.
That was my drama.
You okay? You all right? You need something? You're seen, you're heard, you're appreciated.
Wait, am I going?
You're going. This is my paying attention look, Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm amongst two actors. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
I'm goofy because he's my brother, but I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But what is it like to be at the Grammys? Like, I mean, I love music so much, so I'd be like fangirling all over the place.
It's work.
Oh.
So in 2015, I won a Grammy with Robert Glasper and Layla Hathaway for a piece called Jesus Children. And then last year, my album, Hiding in Plain View, was nominated for a Grammy. So both of those categories were in the non-televised.
Okay.
The non-telecast part of the ceremony, which begins at 12 noon
Oh.
And in both cases, my category was like in the 60s.
Okay.
Out of 80 categories, it was like in the
That's
60s.
a long.
They want you to
Yeah.
hang out there for a while.
Yeah,
Oh my God, that's long.
because red carpet started at 11, so you're there the whole time, and then by
Wow.
the time the pre-telecast is over, then you have to rush over to another building where the telecast is.
Oh.
They're not serving lunch. There's no crap service.
Oh my God, I'd need a Snickers bar. I'd be hangry.
So you're literally there all day. Now, mind you, the gratitude still abounds and all of that, but it's not the glitzy
Glam.
that.
Yeah, you still got to eat though. They ain't got no food. There's not enough food. Like, I mean, I'm grateful, but I do still got to eat. We can.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So, okay. That's the experience on that portion. Okay.
Well, that's cool to know. Like, that's what I was saying when we were chatting amongst ourselves earlier. I'm like, it's just really incredible to hear stories like both yours and Allie, like being actors, music, because you don't know these things go on behind the scenes. Everybody does think it's glitz and the glam and dressing up in sparkles, which I love to do. So if there's any red carpet event, I'm available. But you know what I mean? Like, but it is so cool to hear all this. So I'm sure our listeners, I mean, I know I love this stuff. So I feel like everybody's going to love this conversation.
As creatives, as creatives is, especially as, on camera talent.
Who's popping in there? Hi.
Oh, look at the baby. Got a little angel visit. Like,
oh my God.
Got the wave.
Left us. There she's in and out.
But part of our job as on-camera talent is to make everything look effortless. Like the biggest backhanded compliment we can get is, "Oh, I can do that."
Right.
We're supposed to make it look as though you can
you
just
can do that. I can hit a fastball.
Right.
Totally.
Right.
Totally. Go ahead, Almy. You have something to say?
I'm just so happy. Like, I love this man. So. I'm just so happy. I had an angel came to visit me earlier today. Michelle Thomas is a good friend of both of ours, man, that had transitioned, left Earth, 98. Just about, man. And she came to my mind earlier, I'll say she knew we were going to be talking today. A wonderful human being. Family Matters is where most people will know her work from. And
Cosby too. Because people always sing to me, Justine.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. But big up to Michelle Thomas, man. And she saved my whole, I was in a bad way when I know her mom, you know her mom, and I know her for a couple of years. And then a couple of years later, when I was going through a mental breakdown,
and he just laughs about it.
I was having I was having a crisis, you know what I mean? And I ran into her at a backyard party in the valley. She was like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine. I like probably got ticks and shit, man." And she was like, "Let's have lunch again, man. Spend quality time, man. Getting my mind together."
Yeah.
These are kindnesses again. I'm back on that theme, man.
Yeah.
Nothing you're asking for, but people are offering, to pour some light into your life, man. Brief moment of an angel spirit, before they transition out of Earth, man. So I thought about her this morning. I hadn't thought about her in months, man. I'm driving my boy to school, and she just flooded across the windshield, bro. So I had to say her name.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but her birthday is actually Saturday. But it's interesting because when people transition, then they always get described as, "Oh, they're an angel," and yada yada yada. But Michelle was truly an angel on Earth,
bro.
Man,
bro,
Yeah.
So big up, Mama. We love you. Always held in our hearts. Your gift always lives in our hearts. That light, it's undefeated, baby.
No doubt. Wow.
That's all I got to say.
That's it? That's all you got?
That's all I got to say on the matter.
Ooh, I don't know. Oh, well, this was awesome today because, like, I just think sometimes, like, life's interesting and it takes you on different, like, paths. And it's like, it's crazy, like, how Allie and I met years ago. And now I get to meet you, Malcolm, through him. And it's just like, it's just surreal almost. Like, you know, you see your celebs and everything, but I think we're on our path. I think we're on our path to where we want to be next. And it led to me to get to like meet you, and this has been incredible. So make sure you follow me back on Instagram, and you never know when I'm gonna drop something.
We'll do. Well,
I do that all the time to people at work, and I'll be like, do the serious face, and then they're just like, is she joking? Like, what's happening?
Well,
always joking.
I love this man right here, and I didn't even know about the podcast until he was like, he came up with my timeline. I was like, oh, our Ace Rack. Okay, what is this?
Yeah.
But I mean, I love this brother. This is my man, pots and pans, and one of the things that I love being able to publicly claim my love for this man is once again, it's something that you don't see often. Like two black men who have like a healthy love for one another. Like, you know, put whatever other bullshit you want to put on it, but like this is like real man to man, then black man to black man love. Like, we got a beautiful
dude.
Oh, he was so excited for you today. He even called me a half hour. He goes, I am so excited today. I'm like, I'm doing my makeup.
You know, it's like, because you're right, Malcolm. You know, you don't, these kind of conversations you don't see. You don't see the unabashed love and affection. You know, so it's good to share this light, man, and to be in this circle of us, and to be able to have our, you know, just a larger community, just see it and hear, of course, your light and your wisdom, brother, and your compassion, and you know, this lifetime to the next, my dog.
No doubt, yes.
Love you so much, baby.
Love you too, brother. Yeah.
I love you too, guys.
We love you too, like, you gonna give me some of that love. You know what I'm saying? You're like, now I'll take a portion of that.
What a brat.
All right, fam. Love you, baby.
I love you too. Sarah, good talking to you.
It's so nice to meet you.
And I will follow you back.
We're besties. All right. Perfect.
All right, kid.
All right,
All right, thank you, Malcolm.